Everything about this bike is so custom, and that's the beauty of it. It is so unique. This is not a production bike, and it won't be until next year, and that is what makes it so exciting. This is exciting. This has been a long time coming, and this is something brand new that a lot of us Marin athletes have been asking for a long time now. This bike here is a prototype, and what's really cool about it is just the versatility of it. There is so much about this bike that is up for interpretation, and that's the best part about it. It's not on the market yet. It's completely custom, brand new, in development, and there's only a few of these bikes in the world that we're testing out right now. Right now I have a mullet set up. As you can see here, the frame is just covered in flip trips, so you can go 29 or 27.5 in the back. I'm running mullet right now, so I got 29 in the front. It literally says right on the top tube, testing for fun. We are trying out so many different configurations with these bikes and seeing what we can do. What I'm really excited about is I finally have a big downhill fork on one of my bikes again. I haven't had this in years. You can run either a long travel single crown, you can run a downhill fork. There is so many different options here. And the rear shock is even a prototype. I'm running the Suntour Voro coil, and I have a Springdex spring on it, which means I can literally like just on the fly go between the weights on the spring, so I can be at like 400-pound weight, 500-pound weight, and that's gonna be really fun in this testing process. I'll be able to swap between weights in the suspension. I'll be able to swap between wheel sizes. It's gonna be so much fun testing this, and I'm just so pumped to take this thing out and smash out laps on it. I literally just built it up last week before going to Mexico. Just got home from Mexico. Haven't even had a chance to ride it yet. This will be really sick. I can't wait to actually get on the bike and finally test this thing out. Not only does the frame have flip chips, but it also has different headset cups I can put in there to change the head tube angle. There is so much open for debate with this bike, and that is the beauty of it. The fact that I can just swap up the angles, the suspension, play around with it. It truly is a prototype. It is so unique. This is not a production bike, and it won't be until next year, and that is what makes it so exciting. I'm really stoked to be a part of this process. I definitely rushed to get this bike together with what I had. Let's take a look at what's on here. First up, suspension. I'm running the SR Suntour Rux. I haven't had one of these downhill forks in years, and I'm so fired up because it looks like the suspension has continued to progress. The seals will even look really cool with the matching teal that matches the bars and the pedals. So I have those little accents on the frame. It even looks so sick with the frame's tubing here. If you look up close, there's like all these little colors on the frame. The tubing is just so clean. The internal cable routing on this bike is looking really good too. I'm pretty impressed with how this is looking. It's just such a sick, clean looking frame with all these nice clean lines on it. And that really ties in nicely with the suspension, with the gray on the Rux. I really love that. And then, yeah, like I said before, I have the prototype Voro coil rear shock. That is so sick too. Having a prototype shock and frame all in one. That is the suspension setup. What is awesome about the fork though, the Rux, is I do have a really large negative air chamber in it, and it just feels so plush. Even just sitting on it, bouncing around the road, it feels really sick. So I cannot wait to actually take this thing on the trails and really smash out some laps and feel it out and really take full advantage of what this bike is gonna feel like. Okay, jumping into the wheels, I have a new sponsor to announce. I'm riding for Delium tires this year, which is really exciting. I've been running the same tires for years, so to try something new, I was a little nervous about. I spent a good month testing these tires out though before I decided to run them. And I'm running two different models on this bike. So I have the versatile tire on the front, which is kind of the do-it-all tire, and then the rugged tire on the rear, which is a little more for winter riding. Perfect for these conditions that we're in right now. And that's why I have it on the back, just to chew up those corners. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I've been running this exact same setup on all my other bikes for the last month now. When I was in Mexico, I got a little bit of all conditions, like really fast, loose, dusty downhill, all the way into grippy, tackier conditions. And this tire setup was really dialed. What is also really exciting about Delium is, unlike a lot of brands, they are fully in-house. They have their own factory. They create all their own tires. They are a brand that does a lot of OEM tires for other companies. So they've been in the game for a long time, like since the 1950s. They have tons of experience, and that is really sick. I'm really excited about that because I can actually give them some product feedback and get some good turnaround times on tire improvements. That is going to be really exciting, and that's one of the things about Delium that I'm really stoked about. Onto the wheels, I'm running Noble instead of Shimano rims. This year, Shimano's giving me flexibility to run a few different types of wheels. So I'm going to be experimenting this year, trying lots of new stuff. And I'm so stoked to be running Noble on this bike because Noble is a local brand here in the Comox Valley. The guys are awesome to deal with. The products are amazing. And these are the 38 rims. This is their stronger downhill / enduro rim. And I honestly cannot believe how lightweight this thing is with the i9 hubs. So I have the Industry 9 Hydra hubs. These things are insane. There's so many engagement points on this. Just rolling it down the street feels so good. Again, I cannot wait to take this bike out. It's just going to be like melting my brain when I get on the trails with it because everything is so new and fresh and different. And these rims though, like I said, I cannot believe how lightweight they are. I have had carbon rims in the past, but I think this bike might be one of my lightest bikes I have right now. And I do think the rims are a big contributor to that. And they just look so strong and pretty dialed. The bike has a full Shimano drivetrain as usual, going with some Saint bits this time since it's more of a burly downhill / park bike setup. I have Saint brakes, Saint short cage derailleur with the 10-speed. That looks really sick. I love the little chrome accents on the Saint derailleur that kind of match the Noble rims and the hub and everything. It looks so good. And then a little lighter weight setup with the crank arms. I'm going with the XTR cranks, 34 tooth ring, which is actually small for a downhill bike. And that is it, nice and basic, no dropper post, no nothing like that, just straight basic park / downhill bike setup. Everything about this bike just matches so well. I love all the little bits of teal spread across the bike with all my P&W components here. So for handlebars, I'm running the P&W range handlebars, wider clamp than usual. It's a 35mm clamp instead of 31/8, and I have them cut down to 760. I've always made my bars really short. I even debated this morning cutting them down to 750 because that's what I normally run. I decided to go 10 mils wider for the bigger bike, and it actually does seem a little on the narrow side of things. So I guess you can go wider for a bigger, burlier bike like this. The bars have the loam grips on them. These are some of my favorite grips of all time because they run so well in wet conditions. It's always raining here. They also shed water really well, and for someone like me who doesn't wear gloves that often, it's nice to have the water really run off the grip well. Super grippy, never gets too wet and slippery. These grips are sick. And then I have the range pedals. This is P&W's composite pedal, a little lighter weight. It is the lower cost pedal, but it is actually my favorite model to make. Has nice tall pins, super grippy, really good, nice long wide platform. I've been riding them for a few months now, and it is honestly one of my favorite pedals ever. And that's the bike. I'm really excited to finally ride this thing. It's finally here. This has been talked about for so long now, but it hasn't been available to anyone on the team until now. It's a really exciting time for Marin, really exciting time for mountain biking in general. It's cool to see more bikes like this coming out on the market where you have the versatility to swap between wheel sizes, suspension, and everything. Such a unique new ride, and I cannot wait to get out there. So I'll leave the video with that. The next videos will be arguably more exciting because I'll actually be riding this thing. But thanks so much for watching, and yeah, stay tuned for more.